We are now.
We're live. So good evening, everyone. I'm Laurel. This is Luke, and this is our regular Luke. This is our regular IT cybersecurity support Facebook Live Q&A. We're going to talk today a mixture of things: privacy, data, and how they are all listening to our conversations. 5G, because we've had quite a long thread about this today on the group. So Luke will answer your questions on 5G, but
I just want to say I will not entertain whack job conspiracy theorists either. If you want to start a conversation, that's fine, but please use your own terminology. And reciting Facebook videos, YouTube videos, and people with no credentials does not warrant a decent argument or a decent debate. If you can't put it into your own terminology, you don't understand it yourselves. I just wanted to put that out there. It sounds really aggressive, but I'm a strong believer if you can't put it into your own terminology, you don't understand what it is you're talking about, and therefore you shouldn't be talking about it.
Thank you, Luke. We're also going to be talking about cyber scams. It's been a huge increase across the world. The most recent one, which is just disgraceful, is cyber criminals targeting hospitals. They've just done it in Czechoslovakia. Yeah. Oh, thank God I managed to pronounce that. Or is it the Czech Republic? I should have realised. It would have been a lot easier. So it's a very dangerous time, especially as a lot of people, probably some of your family in the older generation, are going online using Zoom and platforms that actually Zoom have just changed a lot of their privacy settings because people were getting Zoom bombed. So you'd go live in a Zoom meeting, let's say a Laurel Leaf networking meeting, and you'd get people posting porn and, dodgy links and making horrible comments, and obviously with access to data. So Zoom have actually put out a statement. They are updating their security systems.
Well, they've now implemented waiting rooms, or they are implementing waiting rooms.
We will come to it. Yes, yeah. There's waiting rooms, but I'm going to finish my intro very quickly, Luke, so you can take over. But it's very important when you're using Zoom or any of these platforms or any of your relatives that haven't used them before, that they really understand the dangers of cyber attacks and how they work, especially emails and phishing. So I'm going to hand over to Luke of Advant Edge IT Solutions, and he's in the directory. You can always contact him. You're welcome to ask any questions here.
Yeah.
Over to you, Luke.
Perfect, brilliant. So yeah, I just want to start with reiterating on what Laurel said about the cyber scams and things. So COVID-19 has been a kind of huge drive for cyber criminals to try and scam people out of money. We've had texts from the government, HMRC, yada yada yada, saying, you've been caught, your phone has been tracking your whereabouts, and they've noticed you've left the house 3 times today. You've been fined £485. Please click the following link to pay the fine. Cyber criminals don't give a crap what's going on in the world. They're heartless, relentless, just nasty people. And they will use whatever is going on in the world to try and scare people into paying large fines. They've attacked hospitals with ransomware, which has been going on for a fairly long time, actually, but even more so now with COVID-19. Hospitals going to get hit with ransomware. Their IT infrastructure is going to get shut down. People are going to die. These people, this is where cyber crime actually starts to become like a real life threat. So they start. I've got 2 comments, but yeah.
Please say your names, or click the link in the video description so that we can see who you are, or just type your name in the comments. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. This is where cybercrime starts becoming real life threats. So when they're attacking hospitals and potentially killing people as a result of their actions, locking IT infrastructures down and things, or they attack national power grids, nuclear reactors and things, trying to overheat nuclear reactors. So where cybercrime starts to become a real life threat to people. COVID-19 is no exception to that. Yes, it's a national it's a global pandemic, sorry. It is affecting a lot of people, and it is a really, really kind of dodgy times we're living in. But these cyber criminals, they want to earn money, and they will do whatever they can. They look at this as their business. They don't care. They've got no morals. They don't care. They just want to earn money. They're like Wolf of Wall Street. If they can earn money from it, they will earn money from it. But there's been a lot of apps and things recently that have been released. One of them's House Party. House Party have been in the media recently about the privacy of their application. Certain people have said that once installing the app and linking it to their Facebook account, they've been locked out of their Facebook account. The House Party said, no, our app's fully secure, but there are security researchers currently looking into it. I had a lady speak to me the other week who installed House Party. 2 days later, her Facebook was hacked. She was locked out. She had her company credit card. She worked for a larger company. She was in charge of running Facebook ads and things for that company. And they shared, so she had the company credit card associated with her Facebook account for running ads and stuff. They've now got a £12,000 Facebook ad bill on their credit card because this hacker has taken over the Facebook account and run ads for added this Facebook account as an administrator to Facebook pages, and then started running ads and things. She's got a £12,000 credit card bill. She was really distraught over it. And to be honest, from my perspective, there's only so much I can try and get back into the account for them using her username and password, but Facebook have suspended the account, are now in touch with the credit card company trying to debate the charges and things. But the fact that the hacker was actually able to get in and it all happened after House Party was installed, well, okay, it could just be a coincidence. There may be more to the story that I've not been told, such as, was there a malicious email that was sent and she clicked the link in the email, etc., like a phishing scam? But it just goes to show that you can't trust everything you download on your phone. Please just be careful with your data and enable two-factor authentication on your accounts. If you had two-factor authentication on your Facebook account, like I do, and House Party was attacking your accounts and stuff, they wouldn't be able to log in. They wouldn't be able to change any of your details without the two-factor authentication code. Well, they can't get that unless they have actual physical access to my mobile, because it's all done via the an authentication app called Authy, which is a really great app, by the way. If you're looking for a decent two-factor authentication app, look at Authy, AUTHY. And yeah, so, but that kind of takes me on to the other thing, is there's a lot of apps out there that are doing more than just stealing people's Facebook details. They're tracking you. This kind of takes us into the privacy thing. So Facebook Messenger, it's been proven time and time again. I've done tests myself with my staff and stuff. We've sat in the middle of our office, put our phones on the table, and started talking about like some mundane subject like dog food and what type of dog food is best for your dog. I don't even own a dog, but it was just a test. Test out if they are actually listening. Well, sure enough, you end up with adverts on your Facebook for dog food. It's like, well, I've never actually been to a website looking for dog food, never been on Pets at Home to buy dog food. I shouldn't be getting ads for this. But because it's been listening into your conversations and stuff, they can get that data and then target ads towards you. And you agree to this when you install the apps, and you just click that accept terms and conditions button. And then when it pops up saying allow access to microphone or allow access to camera, you're agreeing to all of this, and you're agreeing to allow these companies, Facebook, Google, and various other companies, to actually harvest your data. And it's scary times. Now, that data is at the moment mainly used for marketing purposes, but that's not to say later down the line it's not going to be used for more malicious or what's the word, controlling purposes. Tracking. These text messages you get saying that HMRC or the government have noticed you've left your house 3 times a day during the pandemic, and now you've been fined. That could all become possible. Your phone does track your location. You can turn off location services, yes, but if you don't, your phone can track your location. It would be possible with the right laws and legislations in place to allow the governments to actually track you if you have left your house, where you've been, what you've been up to, how long you've loitered in this location. If there was a stabbing in a park by you and your phone says that you've been in that park, well, then you're a prime suspect now. And the government and the police and other law enforcement agencies could use it to actually catch criminals. There are positives to it. There's a positive to everything. Every cloud has a silver lining. But me as an individual, I don't want to be tracked. I don't like being tracked. I don't use Google as my search engine. I use DuckDuckGo because it doesn't track you across the internet. I use VPN connections pretty much everywhere. My house has a permanent VPN connection set up so that my internet service provider can't spy on my internet. Not that I'm doing anything dodgy. I just don't like being monitored. I just don't agree with it. I like my privacy as much as the next person.
But Luke, I just want to say that I read the other day that the government are considering tracking all the people that have had this coronavirus so that they can prove that they're immune. And so that's what you're talking about, really. So if the government can easily do that, set that up now, these tech companies must have been doing it for years.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been talks and things on various forums and stuff involving high-profile people like Bill Gates and things about microchips under the skin that will change different colors based on if you've got COVID-19 or if you're immune to it, or if you've had the vaccination. And that's kind of like, okay, we'd have to consent to having a microchip put in. There's a positive side to it, because if someone's got COVID-19 or any form of infectious disease that these microchips could pick up, you could know straight away. Like if there was a microchip for HIV and someone had that chip in and it was red, for instance, to indicate they had HIV, you wouldn't then go and have unprotected sex with them. And they couldn't lie about it either.
An analogy.
Well, it's one because there was cases not that long ago of individuals having unprotected sex, knowing that they had HIV. They've now been arrested and put in prison, but they've ruined the lives of millions of people.
Is that in this country?
It happened in this country. It happens in the United States. It happens all over. It's people just don't care. So there are positives to this technology, and governments wanting to enforce it. But on the flip side of that, it's about our privacy as well. Where do you draw the line? Well, to me, you draw the line on anything that can be used to monitor you. I wouldn't consent to have a chip under my skin and be tracked and monitored. I've got a 2-year-old daughter. If when she was born, they'd said, oh, okay, she needs this microchip under her skin for X, Y, and Z, I would have kicked off. I don't want my daughter having microchips in her, and this is what they're thinking about, especially in the States. There's a lot of talks about newborn babies being the first to have these microchips and stuff implanted into them. So it kind of becomes the new norm. Well, it's almost like
science fiction.
It is almost like sci-fi. I'm sure there are sci-fi movies about it where people have these chips under their skin and stuff, and they'll cut the chips out and things. They want to be off the grid, anarchy, and all of that. It's diabolical. But our privacy is our primary concern as individuals, not even as business owners, just as individuals. I showed you last time. There's a website called Shodan.io, and Shodan indexes and picks up any device that's connected to the internet. It doesn't matter whether it's secure or not. The security comes down, it just picks it up. Then the security comes in, because anyone can go to Shodan, find the IP address of your device, open it up in their browser, and if you haven't secured it or changed the default username and password, you've opened up potentially your business or your home network for anyone to spy on. If you've got internet, like IoT, CCTV cameras and things in your house, Ring doorbells, and that's on the internet, and someone finds the IP address and you've still got the default username of admin and the default password of password, well, it doesn't take a genius to kind of enter those details. They tend to be the first details anyone will enter into any equipment to try and hack into it, either admin or admin password. And yeah, you've now got some randomer potentially looking at your Ring doorbell or your home CCTV, knowing when your house is vacant, knowing what your daily routines are, and it becomes.
So Ring doorbell recently just set up 2-factor authentication, didn't they?
Yeah.
So would you say that now makes that safe?
Yeah, as long as you use 2-factor authentication. There's a lot of people that can't be asked because they think it's an unnecessary annoyance. Well, don't be wrong, that extra step is a little bit more time consuming, but you weigh out the pros and the cons again. Is it better to have the extra security there and know that no one's going to get in, or is it better to leave it unprotected and risk your family's safety, in this case with like a Ring doorbell? Well, to me, that little annoyance, and every platform I have, if I can enable 2-factor authentication, I will do. Don't get me wrong, I probably spend an extra half an hour to 40 minutes a day entering 2-factor authentication codes. But to me, I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting my clients' networks and things that I have access to. As an IT provider, that is my primary concern. And so I'd advise anyone who's using any form of online platform, if it's got 2-factor authentication, it's there for a reason, use it. A lot of companies will start to make this mandatory shortly, I can imagine. There are certain companies that already do. Google, for instance, always try to get people and will continuously prompt you to enter like a recovery phone number and things. If they detect a location, you logging in from a strange location, even if it's only the next city across from you, they'll ask you to enter the code that's sent to your mobile.
Like now, the third-party scheduling apps are doing that as well, and also like MailChimp. MailChimp doesn't force you, but I mean, obviously, I turn mine on as many as I can a long time ago. But now even kind of smaller companies online, like Hootsuite, social media scheduling platform, you've got to have two-factor authentication. And now the supermarkets, when you check out online as well, my bank now is sending me, it's called an OTT or OTP code. You probably know what that stands for. Yeah, so, and I have to enter that. And it's great because obviously it's great. So I think I think there should be responsible, because a lot of these companies don't actually spend what they should be spending on protecting their sites.
And two-factor authentication is really, really not that hard for companies to implement. There's plenty of third-party integrations out there. Google have Google Authenticator, which any company in the world or any platform in the world can actually just sign up to and implement on their website. All you have to do then is download the Google Authenticator app, scan the QR code that's popped up when you log in. It syncs it through to the app on your phone, and when you log in next time, it'll ask you for the 6-digit code that's on the authentication app. It's really, really easy for these companies to implement, and a lot more people will start to implement it and make it mandatory. A lot of banks have been a little behind the times with certain things. There are certain banks out there that are still a little bit flexible on logging in. Most of them will give you those, like HSBC, they give you those little bloody devices and things. That's still quite an old style way of doing it, actually having a physical device. Barclays, for instance, they have everything on their app on the phone. You have to sync the app to your phone. The only way you can sync your app to the phone is going through some security measures to ensure that it's you and your account. Once you've synced it, you can log in and use the code generator or the mobile pin on your pin sentry, as they call it, on your phone to log in. So therefore, you haven't got to worry about carting around a little bloody chip and pin device. There's other banks like Starling, which I use. Starling's two-factor authentication is your fingerprint. You have your username and your password, and then if you can only access the app on your phone. The business version can be accessed online, but again, to access it, you have to authenticate through your phone. Two-factor authentication. It should be mandatory across the board. And
can I say that there are some very nice, lovely members who are saying hello to us, Luke, but
yes,
they're not. We don't know your names because the app we're using, this platform, it only says Facebook user, which is Facebook rules, not ours. So please add your name when you leave a comment, and please do ask any questions you might have about your own cybersecurity. Sorry, back to you, Luke.
Yeah, no problem. Just to reiterate on that, the people who have commented are Paul Fegan, Mary Ann, and Brett Jackson. I just checked the Laurel Leaf group, and you can see the comments on there.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, well, hi guys. Oh, hello, Paul. Hello, Brett. Who was the other person?
Paul, Brett, Mary.
Paul, Mary.
No, Paul, Brett, and Mary.
Oh, Mary. That must be Mary Ann. And hello,
yes.
Paul. Okay, so let's have a little chat about 5G, because we had quite a long thread about this today. There was a lot of controversy. And look, some people believe what they believe, and it'd be very interesting to hear from a professional.
I mean, people believe what they believe. I'm not here to slate people's beliefs, or for whatever reason. But I'm a logical person. You know me, Laurel. I'm a realist. I'm a logical person. I like to have the facts in front of me. And I'll do my own due diligence on anything anyone says to me. And this is what annoys me about the whole 5G thing. People will just share videos that look like they've been created by some 16-year-old in his bedroom. You've got flashing images of like planes hitting towers and people lying in the streets and this, that, and the other. 1 second. PF, do you have to upgrade your phone for 5G? If your phone is not compatible with 5G, then you will need to upgrade your phone to a 5G-enabled device, such as the Samsung Galaxy S20, the newer iPhone, I believe, has 5G. Don't quote me on that one.
What number iPhone? Do you know what number iPhone it starts?
Oh, God, I can't remember. I'm not an iPhone fan. iPhone 5G. Let me just... the iPhone 12, the new one that's coming out, will have 5G apparently. So currently no iPhones have 5G from what I can see. That's just a quick Google. Don't quote me on that. Please do your own research. But I know the S20 and a lot of Android phones currently do have 5G, like the OnePlus 7, OnePlus 8, OnePlus 8. They have 5G enabled. It's mainly Android devices at the moment because Apple are a little bit slow to adopt this technology. They should have rolled it out in the iPhone 11, I personally think. But they're waiting for the iPhone 12. But yeah, no, I'm not, like I was saying, I'm not here to argue with anyone. I like to have a debate, And if people want to talk about 5G and the potential health risks about this, that, and the other, hell, if they want to talk about the Earth being flat and things, I will happily sit there and entertain and talk about and debate these subjects. But what I don't agree with is if you can't put it into your own words, then you don't have an understanding of what they're actually saying, of what you're actually saying, or what you're learning, or what you've been told. So yeah, I don't agree with just sharing random Facebook videos and blogs to biased websites like stop5guk.co.uk. Well, that's a very biased website. Putting that as a form of knowledge or as a point of reference is always only be one-sided story, because it's a website designed at stopping 5G. People on there and all the posts on there are going to be about stopping 5G. Find an independent research.
So why are you not part of the conspiracy? What are your thoughts, and why do you feel it's safe?
It's using existing technology that's been around for years. Old analog TV signals. Analog TV is kind of dead now. Radio station signals and things that aren't being used, they've been re-auctioned, sold off to be repurposed for this. The difference between 5G and a lot of older technologies is radio stations and TV stations, for instance, will have massive broadcast towers. For instance, like the BT Tower in London. It's a huge broadcast tower. The power that thing is generating to send that signal out to across the country or however far it does is phenomenal compared to what a 5G antenna the power of 5G antenna will be using, because there's more of them dotted around. So it's like it's like my example with the DJ at a music festival. Right, if you can have two big speakers at the front of the DJ, in front of the DJ, and the people at the front of the crowd, maybe halfway along the crowd, can hear the music absolutely fine. People at the back can't hear it. Or you can either ramp the volume up on those speakers, and all that's going to do is deafen the people at the front, or if it was in the case of a 5G tower or something, cause huge radiation problems for the people at the front, and the people further away not so much. Well, instead of ramping that up so it's deadly levels of radiation or deadly levels of sound in this instance, you can install smaller speakers or more speakers, or in this case, more 5G cell towers across the UK to keep the signal levels low, but still provide everyone with a great signal strength. Now, there's a lot of conspiracy against power and frequency. The frequency, your Bluetooth headphones, like your AirPods, sorry. Bloody Apple terminology, your AirPods will use 2.4 gigahertz frequency to transmit data. Now, if you put them one each side of a cup of water, or hell, if you put a cup of water next to your router, again, which uses 2.4 gigahertz, it's not going to boil that cup of water, because the power that frequency is being transmitted at is minuscule. It's not affecting the molecules of the water to get them vibrating enough to cause heat. You put that cup of water in a microwave, which again is using 2.4 gigahertz frequency, but is transmitting the data at 800 to 1,200 watts, as opposed to a couple of milliwatt or a couple of hundred milliwatts, then you've got like an 80,000 microwave's like 80,000 times more powerful, or even 800,000 times. My maths is terrible. More powerful than the Bluetooth headphones or the wireless router. Therefore, it's got the power there to start getting the molecules in the water excited and start generating heat. Again, with cell phone towers, the 5G in the UK, 5G towers will be using sub-6 gigahertz frequencies. Most Wi-Fi routers these days have a 5 gigahertz setting in them, which means we're already exposed to 5 gigahertz. Some routers even have a 60 gigahertz, which is considered a military-grade frequency. But because it's only being transmitted at a low power, it's not affecting people. It's not dangerous. Don't get me wrong. You can get that same frequency, ramp it up by a couple 100 million watts, and then start mounting it to a tank like they do, and start using it as a crowd dispersal laser. They do that. The United States do that. A lot of, it's used all across the world, but it's because it's being transmitted at such high power, not high frequency, but high power, that it's actually affecting people and starts to cause burning sensations and things. So it's the power that's deadly, not so much the frequency. And there's a lot that's what I don't think a lot of people.
What you've just made me think of, Luke, is sorry, forgive me for interrupting, but if what you're saying is, if they turned up the volume, so to speak, using your analogy,
yeah,
but not the frequency, but they turn up
the power.
The power, sorry.
Yeah.
And then the result of that would be radiation burning, which is obviously, we know, radiation burning affecting your skin. then why would the coronavirus, which is a respiratory infection, be the result of, if it was true? Do you see what I mean? It's not a symptom of radiation poisoning to get a respiratory virus and pneumonia.
No, it's radiation poisoning results in hair loss and stuff like that. You know, my mum's a breast cancer survivor. She had radiotherapy. She was shot at with radio beams, in effect. You know, she lost her hair. She had blisters all around her neck, her back, and everything. They're the symptoms of radiation poisoning. But what people are saying is that 5G is causing cells to start destroying themselves and generating viruses inside the immune system, and then we're spreading those viruses to other people and things. To me, it's just pseudoscience. It's nonsense. The frequencies of 5G and things do not cause cells to start breaking down, especially at sub 6 gigahertz. It's just ridiculous. There is no Ofcom did a test and have said 5G is absolutely safe. Ofcom are an independent UK regulator for the telecoms industry. You know, if they said it's safe, they're not biased at all. You know, they just make sure what technology is available is safe and it is being used in a safe manner. So people going around burning 5G cell phone towers and things, they're absolutely idiot. At a time where we need connectivity more than ever because everyone's trapped indoors, you know, having these faster download speeds that 5G and things can actually provide us with will mean that there's very little latency on video calls. People can download movies and things from the internet a lot quicker. People communicate a lot quicker, and it will pave the way for future technologies, autonomous cars, you know, a lot more smart devices, because there'll be that very little latency between a command being sent and received by the end device, because the speeds are so good that we'll be able to start building our future using this technology. Now, yeah, but burning down these cell phone towers, if someone's got a 5G phone, don't get me wrong, 5G phone will have 4G, but let's say, you know, 5G replaces 4G completely and they switch off 4G, which I don't doubt they'll ever do, you know, and they start burning down 5G towers, all you're going to do is ruin the communications for everyone. People are going to be stuck. Should Huawei be banned from the UK? Yes, I completely agree. I don't agree it's a good idea for any country to have a foreign country involved with its critical infrastructure. Now, I had this chat with Laurel last night. I'm a realist in the fact that there's not a lot we can do if the government decides to go ahead and actually agree to continue letting Huawei build parts of our 5G infrastructure. You know, we trust the government with our to make the correct decisions. We have government departments like GCHQ and the National Cybersecurity Centre in place to make sure that any technology we are implementing is safe to use, and they will be doing the checks and things to ensure that there is no malicious kind of software or chips or hardware inside these devices that they're supplying us with. But I still don't think it's a good idea. If international relationships break down and things, who knows what could happen. The UK needs to start looking for partners. We could use US companies. They're a lot safer than a Chinese company. We have a very good relationship.
I mean, I heard one of the MPs saying on LBC about you know, we don't have the technology here. We're going to be behind if we don't give Huawei, you know, like whatever. But for me, it's critical infrastructure. And maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing if we did start manufacturing and catching up, because is it really a good thing to be so reliant? Which basically, China is a communist state. Whatever you believe about the coronavirus, the information that's come out of there has been questionable, to put it mildly. And so I think we'd be very stupid as a country, especially now, to not take this opportunity to actually get this tech sorted and get our manufacturing of technology up and running again.
The thing is, 5G is obviously being rolled out at the moment. Now, I'm not sure how much of the equipment that has been rolled out is actually related to Huawei. I haven't done a lot of research into that. I know the government there was a couple of articles on a few of the news sites that the government are in talks about pulling out of the agreement with 5G, with Huawei for the 5G. After this conversation, I will do a bit more research on that and actually find out what the situation is. Someone's just commented saying they're in 4G now. Chinese have a foot in pretty much most technology that comes into this country. I was having this chat with Laura last night. Pretty much every device has a chip in it that's manufactured in China, you know, Korea, Taiwan. You know, they all tend to be the big countries that do the manufacturing. So yes, the Chinese will have some foothold in 4G. Again, I
But
don't know.
they don't. I don't think whoever that is asking that is that you, Paul Fegan. I'm not sure who it is, but I think they.
Yes.
It is Paul, but they don't have access to our critical security, and that's what this issue is about with the 5G networks. That they're saying that they won't give them that access, but as far as I'm concerned, once you've got access in, the Chinese. What were we talking about last night? They planted something somewhere. You were telling me.
The Chinese have been known for tampering with devices and things that are being shipped to the UK and the US. But then again, so have the NSA. The NSA used to intercept devices sent to businesses and install chips and things. It's
so all the countries are doing it. Then basically,
every country is doing it. It all comes back down to privacy and censorship and things. Governments want to know what their citizens are up to, but that's okay in one aspect if it's looking after your internal country. Giving a foreign country access to your country's data and what's going on in your country and what your citizens are doing is a completely different ballpark. I agree. China should just be cut out of the 5G in the UK altogether. America have done it. Donald Trump will not allow Huawei devices within the United States, and especially not within the United States government. No government employee in the United States is allowed to use a Huawei device. It's very hard to actually buy a Huawei device in the United States. There's plenty of forums set up on like Reddit and things where people in the States are asking people in the UK and stuff to ship over Huawei devices because they want the P20 with a great camera. But they can't buy it over there because they're not allowed to sell it. So yeah, it's again though, but we can only agree with or go with what the government ultimately decide to do. And a lot of it comes down to profits and costs, as with anything. What's the point in manufacturing it in the UK? It's going to cost us 6 times as much as it is to get manufactured over there. And this is it. It's about, again, comes down to morals. Is it morally right though to sacrifice profits for privacy, or would you rather?
Safety.
Pardon?
And safety, not just privacy, but safety. I mean, the thing is that other countries that we might allow in, friend or foe, we may not all like the present president or future presidents or previous presidents, but sorry, because I've just got distracted there. Is Trump taking a balanced view?
A balanced view on what, Paul?
I think he means on Huawei, kicking out Huawei and not letting the products be sold there. But I mean, they have got a bit of a war anyway going on because of the Chinese trade deal that basically Trump just tore up. So there's been quite a bit of friction between them anyway. But what I was going to say was, are China friend or foe? I don't think we actually know, and I think that that's having a very fair balanced view. We don't actually know, so why would we allow them access?
Yeah, the other concern is how much of a foothold does the Chinese government have within Huawei? They say they're a privately owned company, but are they? It all comes down to they're a communist state, so technically everything in that country the government have a foothold in. The government are the own everything. No one owns their own stuff in a communist state. It's all government owned. You do everything for the greater good of the country. So yeah, it's one of those subjects that requires people to do their own individual research into. Obviously we can sit here and debate about it as much as we like, but it comes back down to the whole 5G conspiracy. Is it safe or not? Unless you do the research yourself and come up with your own conclusion and actually look into it, then you're never really going to understand what's going on. I need to do more research into it. I'll be completely honest with current workloads and things. I've not had a huge time to actually research these subjects.
Well, that's good, Luke. That's good in these times. It's good that you're busy with work. I'm pleased. Yeah, people's computers still break. So IT is quite a resilient industry. We're people even working from home, their computers will still break. What will 5G bring that we don't have now? Less latency, faster download speeds, more internet interconnectivity. So, for instance, at the moment, we can't have autonomous vehicles, so self-driving cars, because the latency with 4G, so the time it takes to send a command and that device to receive it, is just too great in certain areas that
by the time you've actually sent the command, or the control center has sent the command to tell the car to turn left, that car could have plowed into a building. So with 5G, the idea is that it's going to have such little latency, and it does through tests and things. The latency is like 1 to 4 seconds, if that. The idea is to have it as small as possible, like 1 to 2 second latency, if any at all, between sending the command and the car receiving the command, that it will be able to drive autonomously without someone having to sit at the steering wheel and actually command the car. You'll have more interconnected devices. So 5G will allow more devices to be connected to cell towers within the radius of that cell tower. So 4G at the moment kind of gets boggled down. Sometimes you could live right next to a 4G cell tower. If everyone's home from work at 6 p.m, all their phones and things are going to connect to it. You're going to get slower speeds. The idea of 5G is that it continues to give the same speeds no matter how many devices are connected. So it opens up a wider capability for that. For those devices. People have smart fridges. People have smart coffee machines, smart TVs, smart cameras, smart everything, smart hair dryers. There is a smart everything these days, and all those devices need to communicate. People's houses are linked up to like Hive devices, so you can control your heating, your lights, and all of that. Well, all of that is going to put a lot of strain on the 4G networks. The idea of bringing 5G in is that it will be able to manage that without any latency to those devices. People won't have to worry about the smart devices disconnected. If you want the bath run when you get home, and you can turn your smart tap on, and your smart bath tells you when it's at the right level and stops the taps and things, okay, you could just get home and run a bath, but it's about, all this technology is available. But if you're...
Paul's he's saying, will 5G really change life as we know it?
I believe it will. I believe 5G will have...
We know it in the last few weeks.
Well, if you believe the coronavirus theory that 5G caused that, then it has already changed our lives. But again, I don't. But I think 5G will do so many good things for this world. Our technology will advance massively over the next couple of years, thanks to 5G. And who knows? 5G may get replaced by something a lot faster. It all comes down to what the scientists and things can develop. And how long it takes them. 5G's taken a fair while for people to develop and actually understand and get to grips with. But it's here now. Let's embrace it. Let's use it to make our lives better. At the moment, most houses can only get like 30 megabyte broadband connections. Well, if you can attach a 50 quid antenna to the side of your house, plug that into your router and get 2.5 gigabyte download speeds, your house is never going to have slow internet again, which is going to increase. If you've got kids, that's going to make your life a lot stress-free. Oh, Dad, my Xbox is buffering, or Mum, the Wi-Fi's dropped out, and I'm trying to do my homework and things like that. Well, you don't have to worry about that because it's all on 5G. It's all connected to cell towers. If one tower goes down, you'll just swap over to the next nearest tower. So I think 5G will do wonders. Personally, I can't wait for it to be fully implemented and see what comes of it.
Well, I think we've had a good old discussion there. There don't seem to be any more questions. So, Luke, we'll set a date for our next one.
Yes.
And thank you very much. Very informative.
That's
and
right.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. We'll pick a...
I won't just leave the studio this time. I will actually class, which is what I did last time. I'll make that mistake again. But thank you very much for your time.
That's okay. Anytime.
Oh, thank you. We've got to thank you. Thank you. I think that's probably you, Paul. But
yes, thank you, Paul, for the comments, and everyone else that's commented and watched.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Take care.
Bye.